Well, hello everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Erin Reed Makes, and today we're going to make some glitter paste cards. I'm going to jack it off real fast because I got warm here. So yesterday, well, on Monday, I did a live video talking about the new Aladine IZINK Diamond 24 karat glitter paste, which is a little bit different than their previous glitter paste. And today we are going to make some really pretty cards. So that's a lot of fun using some stencils from Crafters Workshop. I picked up 3 stencils. These 2 are actually different, but we're going to make the same style of card, just changing up the stencil and changing up a little bit of the colors, keeping with the fall theme. I kind of was like, well, what colors do I want to go with? And I realized, you know, I just kind of get into a fall vibe, and I'm really digging all like the colors that come into fall. But those cards could work pretty much for any time of year because we just put a very simple thanks on there. So let's go ahead and start stenciling. And I'm going to leave these guys up here so you can kind of see where we're headed with it. So hello, who just jumped on? Good afternoon or good morning. All right, so I used these 3 stencils. So this stencil right here, and this one I think is called Rose Bouquet, is what this one was used. This one right here, Jasmine Spray, I think, and I do not remember Floral Bloom or something like that. The links are all down below so you guys can find all this fun stuff. And so I haven't done this one yet, so let's do that one. We're going to do 2 with you guys today. And so I will do this one and maybe like repeat that one again. So all I've done is I've taken cardstock, just white cardstock, and I got to decide exactly where I want to orientate my, my stencil. So I lay it off to the corner. First step though is you want to, and there it is. I can't find my purple tape. I wish I could find my purple tape, so we're going to use just washi tape, which works great. I also have down below me. This one is a brand new one of me. It's a thick craft mat, and you can get it at scrapbook.com. It's from a company called Dress My Craft, and it is really like double the thickness, super, super thick. And I love it because I can like kind of batter and bruise it, and I don't feel like I'm putting scratches and dents, and it kind of can take up to the torture that I put my craft mats in when I do my mixed media. All right, so I got to decide kind of where I want to go with this. So you're just doing a corner. So if you notice in the center of the stencil, there's this big flower right here. I'm anchoring that into the corner, and that's what I did with all of these. So let's do that. That looks really pretty. So then I'm going to come in and I basically make sure my stencil is nice on here. That's not going to shift around. I also make sure it's kind of attached to the paper below it. So this is where having, tape is your friend. And you're going to pull it off in sections. So I really want to make sure these are on here good. So there we go. And I got to be careful when I get into this little spot. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tape down, because as I get in with the stencil, I don't want to hit this section. Pull that off. So I'm just going to kind of create another bit of a barrier right there. Ta-da! Because that's going to be plain. Good afternoon. How you doing? Hi, Carrie. All right. Yeah, they're so pretty. I love these stencils. I mean, you can just see how gorgeous they are. And you can play around with the colors. And we are going to mix and match the colors. For instance, for the leaves, I truly am like blending all the colors together, because in nature, and when I think of flowers and leaves, they're not just one color. They're multi-tones. Even though it's a red flower, there's shades of red or shades of those colors. So that's kind of where we're going with. All right, so this is a flower piece, this is a flower piece, this is a flower piece, right here is a flower piece, here, really the only green is right here in the center, and then here is some more flowers. So I got to be careful about, this is the hard part, trying not to mix your colors. So I am using a couple of different tools. Here's one. Oh, my other one got shoved way in the back. So I got a couple of different tools. I tried to use my silicone brush, and it just didn't quite get the job done. So I'm going back to my old-fashioned spatula tools, and it's got like a nice rounded corner or a fine tip corner, and I can use one for the greens and one for the flower colors. So let's do the flower colors first, and let's go with yellows, golds. So yellows and golds and golds. Let's just do like a yellowy gold flower. What do you think? Good afternoon, Anita. How you doing? So what I have here is I actually have 2 from the new ones. And I did find a link to all the old ones, but the new ones haven't even been released yet. So, but let me tell you, these things are awesome. I love them. They look so pretty. Okay, so these ones are the 24 carats. If you know, look, they're like a little more iridescent looking. They are so cool. I know, they're so awesome. And then this is the older one. You can tell it's still super glittery, super fun. doesn't have like what I would call like the holographic look to it, but they are really, really pretty on the paper. Okay, make sure this one's good. Yeah, so here we go. We're going to put a blob down. These ones have also been going. I opened them up and started playing with them starting in, when was it? February. So they've been going strong since February. So these things last a while. So I'm just going through and putting a blob of the color, and I'm going to do a little bit on each of them to every color. That one's gold. This one is the 24 karat gold. So these are both golds, just from two different ones, the 24 karat, one's the other one. These things are awesome. There's a couple of different stores. I put the link down to the original ones. They're like $5 a packet, and one packet lasts you a long time. So awesome little Christmas gift, or whoops, don't worry about it if you plop too much. It's okay. I'm just kind of adding more plops to the side here. So difficult so far, right? And so another reason why I love this particular packaging, there's a ton of glitter paste out there, but they're usually in tubs or tubes or something. And what happens when you take air out of a container and you leave an air space, an air pocket, it dries it out. This, because it's in a squirt tube, it comes out. You're not leaving any air in here, and you can tell if they're still good because you can see the glitter moving around. And you can actually see, get a good one so you can really see it. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see the glitter actually shifting around there. It's pretty cool. I think the green one does the best job of showing it. See it moving? It's pretty, and look how much you get. You get 80 milliliters. This is a company that's based out of France. And so it's awesome. I got introduced to it when I went to Creativation last year. They're going to be there again this year. And they sent out an email saying, we have this new product. I was like, send me some. And they did. And I thought that was so awesome. So I'm playing with it. Woohoo! It is rocking stuff. Okay, so now that I've got my blobs on there, you don't have to mix colors. You could do this totally with just like the gold, and it would look so utterly pretty. But that I like flowers that have lots of tones to them. So that's kind of where I'm going. And so then you just kind of smear it in. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I have my paper towel here, and I'll show you. There's a lot on here. We're not going to get rid of that. You might come back to it. So just smear it in. You could also do like this one, flowers, one color, and maybe I'll do that for the next one. I'll pick one where we can do different colors and tones, but you'll see how it kind of gets all the tones and you get different shades. So I'm doing it. Smear it off. I put way too much, but you know what? Even then, I still put like little tiny blobs. So now I can come back and I can grab, because I'm a little short right here. I can come in with my spatula here and get in and do that fine detail work right here in the corners. So I need a little bit more. Let me just get in with the corners. This is a little bit what I would call finagly. It dries pretty quick. So I have these two that were dry, so we don't have to wait around for drying. But if you don't leave it super, super thick, it will dry within 15, 20 minutes, about that. So that's not too shabby. That's pretty good. So look, now we're getting darker tones and we have lighter tones. And if I want to add a little bit of a darker, because that's got a little bit of a darker tone to it, I can add that in there. This is why my craft mat's handy. All right, so come in here. Now we're going to get a little bit more super goldy here. This is when I wish I was ambidextrous, because I can't get in there. My left hand would suck and get it everywhere. So if you leave it too thick, it takes longer to dry. But if you want thick, guess what? You can leave it thick, because it will keep its dimension. So I've had some where I've left super, super thick and it's kept quite a bit of its dimension, which I think is really pretty. And that kind of has its own prettiness all to itself. Okay. But I don't want this as a card to be super, super, super thick. So I'm not doing that. I need to grab a little bit more for the stem right here. Actually, I could have done that green. That's okay. I'm just thinking flower. Ooh, and I got to be careful right along here. I don't want to get that. So really coming in. And think of the colors. You wanted to change this up. You could use the same dye and go more Christmassy rather than autumn. Sorry about my arm. I just want to scrape this off. I don't want it to be too thick. And you could do Christmassy colors and get the reds in there. There's going to be a tiny bit of that gold right in the bucket where the green's going to go, but it'll be okay. This is why I put the tape down right here, because I knew as I was scraping around, I would have a hard time and I didn't want to mess it up. All right. So I'll leave this here. I mean, you could also put like a piece of wax paper down. You could get out a second craft mat and it could be your way, but this to me is easy because then I can just pitch it. just off to the side of the thing, I have a thing of water, right? So it's going to serve two purposes. Number one, it's going to help kind of get my stencil brush or my spatula. And number two, as soon as and it's like an old vase, but it's the perfect height. I'm dubbing it now my stencil vase for my small stencils. It's the perfect height for these stencils. And when we're done, I'm not letting it sit with all of the glitter paste on there. I'm going to pop it right into the water, and it's cleaning itself because it sits in the water. It's awesome. Hi, Vedette. How you doing? Hi, everybody. I already said hi to Carrie and Anita. Anybody else is there, say hi. Hi. How's everybody doing? All right, so now we're going to go in with the green, and I'm going to mix, let's just go with these two right now. So one of these is the 24 carats, and the other one is the plain. And so I like to mix the colors. You could totally get away with just doing the one color, but you know me, I gotta have some fun. It's going to be a little bit harder. There we go. Because I don't have anything to like scrape it off onto the side or like off the page because it's right in the middle. So we'll just have to be careful. Nice big blob. It's called green. So this one that I did here is just called, so everything's in French. So vert means green in French. For these newer ones, they did them in green pastel. See, to me, that just looks like eucalyptus. We were talking about that the other day when I was doing this demo. It's like, it looks like eucalyptus when you put it out, but I don't know. It's whatever color you want it to be. All right, so I'm kind of mixing it up right here. And then I'm going to spread it in and really get it in. So it's going to have kind of a multi-tone look to it when it's done. That's really thick, but I got to get it up here. So the good news is because I did all of the flowers first, whatever color's on top, because I got a little bit of that gold, I'm going over with the green. So you're not going to see that I messed up. But what I got to be careful on is not coming in and covering up my flower, because then you're going to see the green, and I don't want to keep layering and layering and layering, and that's kind of a pain. So kind of scrape up as much as I can, push some this way. This is where having the fine tip, because you can get in and really kind of get into there, because you're not just scraping the whole thing, because you're giving it a couple of different colors on here. Don't push too hard, just kind of very lightly kind of scrape it into the little pockets, the little holes of the stencil. And there we go. And do my best to kind of scrape some off my paper towel so it's not so thick, so it doesn't take longer. The thicker it is, the longer it'll take. If it's just a nice thin coat, it'll take, 15, 20 minutes to dry, and then we're good to go. So by the time we're done with this, and I'll show you we're going to make one more together, and then we'll assemble a card. This should probably be dry, just to give you guys a reference. All right, so carefully peel this off. There we go. Get all the ones that I use that are attached to. Careful not to rip my paper. I mean, I know it's washi tape. It hasn't been on very long, and it should be fine. But every now and then I get some, just a tiny bit. It's not really meant to be like what I'm using it for. It should be fine. But there's better tapes out there. All right, and then carefully lift up your stencil. And there it is. All right, so this is what I was talking about with the water. Have your little water right there. Take your stencil, and I'm going to take the dirtiest side, and I fold it and pop it in the water. And there's one little spot that's going to get dried on, so I'm just going to use my finger right now. And the bottom of it's got all this glitter, and the white, why it's opaque, is because there is a little bit of like a glue within the glitter, and that's why it has that color. All right, my finger's wet, so I want to. Paper towels are super handy for this, guys. They are your friends. All right, so go ahead and scrape this off. And then be very careful, and immediately, before you go too far, clean this up. There we go. You could totally do the entire sheet. I just like the idea that it's just got a little bit of some simplicity to it right now, and just kind of some calmness. Now, like it's got some white space, so it gives you kind of like your eye. There's so much going on with the stencil and with all the colors and all the glitter. You want to kind of have a relief in a way. So when you looked at my original card, I also added some splatters. So do we want to have a card where there's no splatters, or do we want to add splatters? All I did is I took, this is a copper. I thought that was kind of a good neutral because I have all these colors, and I just went flick, flick, flick by taking out this and went flick, flick and let it dry. What would you like? You guys tell me, because if we're going to do it, we're going to do it now. Maybe I'll do this one. You know, we'll do this one. Well, I'll go ahead and do this one. And the next one, I'll leave it unsplattered. And then you guys can tell me which one you like. So see, I'm just flicking. Trying to make this interactive for you guys. Be good. So I'm just flicking. It gives not a ton of stuff happening up here. And then in the finished card, what I did is I took some jewels and I added a few extra jewels up in the corner just as something fun. So if you wanted to leave it blank just to have a little bit of some relief, so it's purely like a negative space, a white space, you could do that. So I'm going to pop this off to the side real fast. And we're going to do one more together, changing up the colors, going a little bit more pinky on the next one, like more of kind of adding in this blushy color. So one more sheet. And then, yeah, the stencils are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. They come from the Crafters Workshop. They are so gorgeous. Links are down below. So here is another, so let's see. I did, this one is that one, and this one is that one. Let's do this one and see if we can get a couple of different tones for each of the flowers. It's going to be a little bit of work, but let's see if we can pull that one off. All right, so tape this down wherever I stuck my tape. Seriously, where'd my tape go? It's vanished. It's under my paper towel. It's hiding. You get too much crap on your desk and it's just everything hides. All right, I want to make sure I'm right smack in the center with this for you guys. Okay. So, ooh, I almost got close to hitting my one that's drying. Awesome. And now my washi tape doesn't want to come off. All right, so I'm going to tape this down first. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to rotate this a tiny bit to get a little bit of a different pattern happening. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. We'll do that right there. So even though it's the same stencil, I'm hitting a different angle on it, so it's going to look a little different. And then we can obviously use different colors. I'm going to use this one. I used just the oranges. So I almost put that when I was drying. I did this one, I did this one, and I did this one, I think, for that one. Or no, I did these three. I did these three for that one. This one I added the golden, the one we just did together. This one we're going to do the peach, dark pink. I call it dark pink, and what do you guys think? Dark pink and the yellow. We'll see how those three work together. We'll play, have some fun. And then I still have some of the paste. I don't know if it's just off camera. I still have a little bit of the paste over here. So if I want to add a different tone, this is not going to waste. It's just kind of off camera. So let's move this over. And then we'll get to the greens after. And maybe for this one, I'll do these two greens because I did the other greens. So I'll do these two greens with this one. Changing it up, having some fun. All right, I'm going to do the same thing like last time. I'm going to add my little barrier, because I'm going to go right up again. I mean, right here is okay, but I'm really worried about those couple of little dots right there. So I don't want to get it onto my paper. And then I lose that ability of having that nice white space. And we're going to leave this one plain. We're not going to add the spray to it, just for grins and giggles. All right. So first step, we're going to try and keep the colors of the flowers. Let's do the pinky one right here in the center. You can still see a tiny bit of my glitter from the last time. So we'll do that dusty rose right here in the center. And then we'll go into like a couple of yellows. And if they blend a tiny bit, we'll have like a yellow line right here. This is all leaf in the background. And then for these guys right there, we'll do this orangey. We'll do the orangey. So this time we're going to kind of, not 100%, there's going to be a little bit of bleeding just because that's really tiny for me to try and get in there. But we're going to try and keep the flowers almost as like solid colored as possible. We're going to attempt it anyway. So just come in with your spatula and kind of get in there. And then, so this is kind of a very pinky one. Can you hear that? That grit? It's awesome. It's the small things in life. It's those little things that you're like, oh, that's so cool. All right. Really make sure you're all the way in the corner. Clean that up. Not too worried if it's not perfect, but now I'm going to come in with yellow. And if a little bit of pinky gets in there, because I just Did it anyway, didn't even mean to. So there's a part of the stencil right here that's going to be a pain in the butt because it's part of the leaf. So you just kind of have to do your best. This is like for when you're like, okay, I really want to get it to look really pretty. And I feel like being tedious today, but it's kind of messy. It's kind of fun. Oh, I need some more yellow. Where to stick it? It's right here. Definitely not something you want to have little. I have had my daughter do it, but not like this detail work where we're getting in here and trying to do different colors and different sections and stuff. This little persnickety. That's okay. And this one's going to have to be left with a little bit of some thickness to it because there's no way I'm going to be able to scrape it off except for that one right there without smearing it into everything. I mean, I might be able to get a little bit off, but a little bit. I can kind of, but there's such a small area that I'm working in. All right, now we're getting into the orange, and I can already guarantee you I'm going to add more orange. It's not enough. Yeah, not anywhere near enough. So you can see I'm really getting into the different colors. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. A tiny bit more to that just since I'm here. It's always, I mean, that's the cool thing is you can just kind of keep adding, closing it up, adding, closing it up. And I feel like I'm hardly using any, but it looks so cool when it's done. Like therapeutic. You turn some music on, which is fun. Oops, I got underneath the stencil on that one. That's okay. Kind of scraping a little bit off here to fill in this last little piece because I ran out of glitter. Now, some of these, there's a couple little spots that are like so super tiny. So I'm going to fill that one in with orange because for lack of better, I don't know what else that was going to be. All right, I think I got all my little spots here. There we go. And then the rest is green. I did mess up and I got to go a little further with my yellow. There we go. All right, so there's how we do our 3 colors. It's just like when we did the other ones. Now we're going to come in and do the green parts. Actually, there's another little tiny bit that's yellow. It goes right here. I don't know if it is, but you know what? I'm calling it yellow because I don't think I can get in there with the green. That's screwing it up. And then there's this piece. Oh, that's part of a flower too. So I'm just going to call that one yellow because that's going to be a pain in the butt to try and get in there with another color. So, because it's part of another flower that's coming in. All right, so now we get all the greens. The greens, I'm going to do the blending again because I just like that look. So I'm just kind of, if you wanted to, I'm not going to do it for this one, but like how there's little circles on this particular stencil, you could go in and you could add a different color for those circles and have some fun with it, but totally your call. So I'm totally blending these 2 colors together here. And it looks like I'm adding a lot. I'm really not. And then I still have some of the green left over on my other. So I just kind of grabbed a tiny bit of that green and then just stencil it in. Your tool is your friend. You know, almost the most tiniest little tool. I brought this guy out too because there's a couple little spots that I'm like, I'm never going to get in there. Like for instance, right in here. So you can come in with a little tiny spatula. And I also realized my orange is not all the way up to the edge. So this is where you can make sure that you're not having gaps. It depends on how picky you want to be. If you're like, nope, I don't care. It's okay if there's a gap. Totally, oops, I don't want to get that one. That stuff on it. Depends on how persnickety you are. There's a little overlap there. Is this equivalent to watching paint dry as you guys see me do this? Oh, you guys are going to give me a topic to talk about. I'm running out of topics here. Oh, I got a fun one. My kids are going trunk or treating tonight. It's so cute. They are having a blast. They're going to get dressed up. It's at the church that they go do. We're a big Scout family. So all my kids are in, sorry, I just really, I stuck my arm in glitter. Can you guys see that? I just stuck my arm in glitter. Oh, awesome. So the kids get to get dressed up and go and get loads and loads of sugar and sugar themselves up. So good. My daughter, this is not the fun part. She last week, well, she's almost on 2 weeks now. It was a Thursday will be 2 weeks. She fell and broke her arm. And so there was a video of her dressed up in her costume, and you can tell that she's got a bright pink cast on. So she is all worried that she's not going to look cute or pretty because she wants to be like a pretty witch because she has a cast, or like a princess. And I was like, you know what? I bet there's princesses out there that have broken their arms and who have a cast. You're not the first one, but you know what? You'll be very unique and you'll look really pretty. And so I'm trying to like convince her that she's going to be amazing, and she is. She'll be absolutely cute. She's getting a ton of attention because of the cast though. And but she still feels left out on certain things because the doctor said you can't run because she broke it right at her elbow. Poor thing. So she's got like the full cast that goes all the way up. Oh well. It's only on for 4 weeks. Could be worse. He goes, I'm gonna have to get in with this thing because there's no way. He goes, there's some casts that you're gonna get where you're on for even longer, but where she broke it apparently is a fast healing because it's right on her growth plate, which sucks. But he says we'll be okay. I'm like, okay, good. I don't need to have her have one arm shorter than the other. Not that that would be a bad thing. She would figure it out, but you know. And she did it in the silliest way. She was walking and she had her hand on her handlebars of her bike and then just kind of tripped and fell over. But because her hands were this way, she went crunk right on her elbow and just landed just perfectly. Man, that girl can scream though. Whew. I mean, I was 2 feet away from her when it happened. I mean, it was right there, just not enough to like grab her. Oh, and it was right as soon as we realized that my middle son had pink eye. So I'm calling my husband. I'm like, I need you to come home because I got a kid with a broken arm. I got a kid with pink eye. I'm still recovering. I'm not 100%. My energy level is still kind of getting back there. I'm like, I need you home now. My mom level of capacity of dealing with stuff is over. Okay. I hit my limit within about 20 minutes. It was done. It was crazy day. Oh, that was a crazy day. All right. So pulling off my tape. There we go. Cleaning everything off. You guys don't mind my little chit chat. But she's doing a ton better. She's all smiles. She's happy. All right. So here we go. Let's see how this looks. After all that work, see if it looks good. Thus, I'm being very careful pulling off the stencil. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. All right. So back into my water bath. This goes down, and I can kind of go on the other side with it right here. And I'm not going to pull this out now because I don't want it to get all wet all over my surface while I still have this down here. It's kind of cool. You can see all the glitter like moving around at the bottom. I've demoed for a crafter's workshop at the Creativation, and they have this. That's where I got this idea. And she goes, it's the best way when you don't, like, you're working with multiple stencils and you don't want to walk away right that second because you're working with them. It's like, I totally get it. And I said, my favorite part when I do it, because everybody's been putting their stencils in all day because it sits all day. I only come in for like an hour or so. Look how pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? That is so much fun. I love looking at the water, and they have some mediums at Crafters Workshop that are shimmery, and they have like, they're not glittery. They're pearlescent. That's the best way to describe this. They're pearlescent ones. And so the water just looks like it's swirling and so pretty. Like I don't know, it looks gorgeous, and it's pretty. It's the best way to kind of go after it. All right. I will also take my tools. I've only used that one. I didn't even use the white one. And then I'm just going to dip my little thing in here and clean that off. And then now I can just take my paper towel and toss it in the trash because it is done. Because if you guys want to see, my paper towel is covered in glitter. So there we go. Ta-da. All right. So these are the two that we made together. We're going to leave this one plain. And you know what? I kind of like the idea that this one doesn't have all the splatters on it because there's multiple colors happening here. So it works really well. There's one little tiny spot What did I do with my poker? Did I just drop it into the water? I did. I totally dropped my poker, my little pokey tool, and completely dropped it into the water. I didn't mean to do that. There's one little spot, and this is where you have a chance to kind of do a little tiny fix. There's a gap right here, and I don't know if this is 100% dried yet. I think I can. It looks like I just kind of scraped a little too far or pulled off. So I'm going to steal some of that orange and stick it over here with my little tool so it doesn't look like somebody like took their fingernail and pushed it in. And there's some sections on here that are really, really thick. So that's going to take a little while to dry, but just fine. Totally cool. This one, it's getting there. It's got, I kind of test right where I know I'm going to put another little thingy. So I'll kind of test one little section where I'm not going to damage it, but I'm loving that kind of like how it's got different shades right there. So pretty. All right. I did finish one. So we can do that one on camera and I can show you the finished product of the card. I mean, you can see this one, but I'm going to show you, oh, it's because I didn't glue this down. That's right. So I was going to glue it down with you here. All right. So bits we need, card, and then we're going to decide which card match we're going to use. And then black. And I like the way that it popped on the black. And we're actually going to use a different die, so we're not going to use this portion today. All right. Got to get my color options out, and then we can decide which one we like for this particular card. And then we're going to pop dot that up. We're going to use some glue. So pull my glue out. And then I have the series of dies and stickers. Sorry, my arms are like all over the place because I shoved it out of the way. So I have this die. It says For You from Lawn Fawn. And I thought it looked really pretty. So this one is a thanks die. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It just looks kind of fun. I don't know. It's pretty. And I like the black because it really does contrast on the card. This one looked very flat by itself. So I added the You're the Best in a little banner. And the You're the Best came from a Lawn Fawn stamp set. So I already stamped that on there. And then I did have this stamp set as well. And what I loved about it was You Are in My Thoughts. So somewhere in there, but thanks, you're in my thoughts, or thanks, you make me happy. But I like the You're the Best better. So I might just not use that one. The thanks die is one that came from Simon Says Stamp. Little thanks die. I want to say it was like $2, $3. It was really inexpensive. So I loved, I mean, I like dies that are easy that I can pop onto cards like this. Okay, so let's build our card first, then we'll come back to that in a minute. I want to see what color. I did the orange in the background for that, but I also picked another neutral color. So we got to do the black because it's going to have the black. So do we like that one? Or do I like that one? I think I like this one. So those are the only two colors that I picked. And so we're just going to layer this down. I'm using my Supertite dual tip max glue pen. So I can get in here and I can do really fine things like that. And I need a glue because I've got like glitter happening here. So I figure since I have my glue stick out, I'm just going to use it for everything. So popping my glue onto my card. And I did not fold my card very well. These are just A2 size cards. I know I've been doing all my fun fold cards. I was like, there's a lot going on with this glitter. And that's about all I got. You don't need to have anything extra going on when you got like glitter with stencils and gems and stuff. There's a lot happening on one card. And I can also kind of refinagle it because apparently I can't put this on straight. It's still screwing this. Man, I'm having the hardest time here. Okay. Really having a hard time getting this thing on straight. And then this part is not there yet either. Some days I pop it on, it's like boom, done. All right, I'm gonna add a tiny bit because I was just moving that around everywhere. Excuse me. I'm notorious for this when it comes to paper. I love using black as kind of a contrasting color, but I always run out of black cardstock. And so I will almost definitely, you will see me using black, but on the other side, it might have a pattern. So this is one that actually came from a die. These are all from Die Cuts for the View paper packs that I just have stashed around because, see, it's just that little hint of something in the background. And maybe it's not enough of a pop. I think it is. On camera, it's not, but in life, you can see that a little bit more. And then for this, we're going to pop this up. I felt like it needed that dimension, that little bit of a change. So we're going to put some pop dots on here. So yeah, I will totally use the back sides of papers, even though they're double-sided, especially if it's black or craft. That's another one that I'll just snag. So make sure I have a nice, good coverage. This is just some pop dots I found, and so cleaning out a drawer, I was like, hey, look at that. Might as well use them. I got them. I don't know, sometimes I feel like a sense of accomplishment when I've used up a stash. If like I finish up a paper pack, I'm like, hey, look at that. I actually used up an entire portion of what I bought at one point in my life. Or like pop dots. I mean, I'll never use up my die because that's a perpetual thing. But like paper, somehow I'm like, yes, I used up my paper. And then never fails. Sometimes, you know, somewhere along the lines of like, I don't know, like a year later, I'm like, man, I really wish I had that paper. That color would have been perfect on this, or that design, or what did I do with it, or whatever. I'm like, ah. So I added a little bit of adhesive. I mean, you can kind of see I stuck them together, and I tried to use like a regular tape runner. It's just not sticking to the glitter. So I don't want this sentiment to fall off when I give it to somebody at some point. So we're going to go ahead, and you can tell I screwed up the stamp. So I stamped it again. I'm going to add a little bit of some glue here. It'll really make sure it's on. And this is what I love about this particular glue, is that it's got like this dual sided. So I can get a big broad glue. I can also get a super fine tip. There is a coupon code down below to Supertite. It's also super safe. This glue is kid safe. So if my daughter ever wanted to use it, she could pop in and play with it. There it is. Ta-da. And we're going to have some fun with some little things on this, I think. Because it doesn't have all the chemicals in it that some of the other stuff has. And so it is very user-friendly in terms of that. And this particular glue stick I've been using for a little while. It doesn't clog up. It works great. The stick is awesome. So heads up. All right, so the For You. Now I was playing around about where exactly did I want to put it up here? Did I want to put it down there? I was like, no, I like it down in the corner. I like the busyness down here. I think it works just a whole lot better. And so there's the For You. This feels like it's crooked because it was. Now, do I want to add anything to that, or does that look good all by itself? I feel like it almost needs like some sort of linear, like that has it, but I don't know what I would put on there without covering up the For You part. So I think we'll leave it. But now we're going to add some fun. So this is a lot more yellowy, so we're going to stick with some yellow ones. This is sticking up because I didn't stick glue on there. It's also a low point because it's between two pop dots. So it's kind of acting weird. It keeps wanting to pop up because it's a low point. You could always do something like that. Get it to stay put. So you could do like boom, and then it'll stick and it'll stay put, and so it won't pop up again. So we're going to add some little pretty gems. So this is a bow bunny set that I've had for a little while. They're just pretty. They're fun. Adding some more of the yellow, maybe like a little that. We're going to add a bigger one. When I'm adding in things like this, I always go with odd numbers. And that includes, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 gems on here total. And if you want to think about embellishments, 10, 11. So there's 11 embellishments on here. So for this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To me, it looks kind of funny because there's a gap. So we'll add in another, let's do another orangey one there. Just some kind of pretty right there. And then, aha, see, look, it's staying down now. Just need a little bit of something. And then I'm trying to decide, you know what? I think I'm going to put a couple in the centers of the flowers. I think that'll look really pretty. So we'll take this. Some people use like a setter, like a tool setter. I don't bother. I just use my fingers. There we go. And then this one's covered up, so I really can't get in there and do that. And so it looks like it's got like little gems for the centers. So we still have our odd 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then does it need something? I think we're going to leave it. I think we're going to leave it just like that. And that is how you make this card. Super fun. I love it. I wouldn't call this what I would quote unquote an easy card. It's meticulous is the best way to describe it. So let's see if our first one is there yet. So it's a little bit on the heavier point, but look, tiny bit flaky off. This is all dry. So how long have we been going? 39 minutes. It's about 30 minutes. And there's some really thick parts because I had to make sure that I didn't like go in from one to the other. So not too bad. Not too bad at all. So here is our cards. I will finish these cards up and you will see them on my Facebook channel so you can see what they finish up and look like. And I'll also have a really quick kind of a fast tutorial on there without me talking, where you can just kind of go back and go, oh, that's what she did. So you can check out my Facebook channel, Erin Reed Makes. Lots of cool stuff on there. Kind of quick videos. So if you want to see the longer version, they're on here. If you want to see the quicker version, they are on there. So lots of fun stuff. So thanks for stopping by. Cool bean stuff. Links are down below where you can find it. I'm dying to put the card. I think I'm going to do the thanks, you're the best with that one. I think that'll look really good. That's going to take a little bit longer to dry. I did a really good job with my green. Looks really pretty, really solid. I kind of smudged a little bit up here, but this one, man, I rocked it. I got better as that was the very first one. So first, second, third, fourth. And by the fourth one, I had it down, but they still look pretty. I still think they look pretty. So thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button, share with your friends, and links are down below. If you click on any of them and you happen to either click or purchase, it just helps me get more supplies to help you and come up with new ideas and time, because that's what I like to do. Lots of fun stuff. Bye, everybody.